Bet on Bears fans, another edition of the Windy City Breeze coming you guys' way. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. As always, a lot to get into from camp on today's episode, a lot to break down. And appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us as you always do, man. Can't believe we're all the way out here in Cincy. I'm still kind of adrenaline high. Just got off of being on with Waddle and Sylvie, man. Had to take a minute to reflect on my journey. I know it's always cool, we go through this process of, growth and different things like that. And, we just kind of move through. But I literally just had to go, I'm sitting here talking to a show that I grew up watching or listening to, I guess. Now it's watching, but listening to my entire life. And so, man, I'm so excited to be out here at the joint practice. And there was a lot to take away from today's joint practice. My biggest takeaway, by the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. My biggest takeaway today was that the offense was very explosive today. You feel good about what you saw as far as the big plays that the offense could make. But consistency was not really a part of the conversation for the offense today. The Bears produced multiple explosive plays. I'm talking about high-level red zone plays as well. And you saw kind of, where this offense was definitely the most comfortable at was those explosive plays, which is something different than what we've talked about with a Bears offense at any point. But the passing game still stalled for a ton of stretches. When you talk about the first period where the team was able to go out there versus the first team defense of the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, they didn't complete a single pass. They weren't able to move the football. Caleb Williams threw, I would say, at least 3 interceptions that I was over there to see. I didn't see everything on the offense because it's just me. I'm splitting time on watching the offense, watching the defense. But, asking around and the ones I was able to see with my own eyes, he threw at least 3 of those. And that's tough to see as the day goes on, right? It was not a great day for the offense. And I think, when you talk about the biggest concern of this team was the offensive line today. The offensive line proved to be incredibly inconsistent just about the entire practice. It started off in the one-on-ones where you had the Bears the Bears O-lineman going up against the Bears D lineman, and they just weren't able to figure it out, right? Like they weren't able to ever get a leg up on what this newly revamped Bengals defense was able to do. This is not your same Bengals from last year. They got a lot of new pieces. The highlight is going out around about Dexter Lawrence and what he was able to do. Like this was a really, really good test. And there's some things that are concerning with that Bears offensive line. I know that it was a great unit last year, but it seems like those new pieces swapping in, you're still waiting for Garrett Bradbury to fully catch up. You're still waiting to see what you're getting from Braxton and or Theo Benedette. Both guys had up and down days today. There's just, right now, there is a lot that you're looking at and saying, okay, the big plays are there, the boom plays, the things that we were able to do last season, right? Those deep throws and things like that. But the simple play wasn't there as much today. I just flipped this down to DeAndre Swift. He's going to take it a long way. There were a couple of those moments, but it was not something that we saw throughout the game. And so I'll be honest with you, like my takeaway in all of this, I would say, and shockingly, the defense kind of is one of the positives of this. But my takeaway from everything that we saw today at joint practices, I don't know if you can go into Saturday's game and just go, there's no reason for the Bears to even play in that game. There's no reason for the starters to even play in that game because we already know the skill set that they have. I think this thing still has some things that they're going to have to gel down pretty quickly here. And you've only got a couple of more weeks before you get into real football. Let me know your thoughts on the offense, man. There were some of those big plays in the red zone, breaking down some of those individuals. Odunze caught a really big play down the left sideline, and he was able to break a tackle and take that one to the house. Down in the red zone, probably my favorite play the entire time this was a goal line period, and Caleb looks over at Kalif. Him and Kalif kind of see the same thing. He calls the check just for Kalif. Kalif breaks in, cuts up through the offensive line and immediately shoots out to the right corner of the end zone, has the hands ready to go. Caleb Williams flips the ball up wide open, dropping that one in for a touchdown. So you're seeing an offense that is starting to gel in certain senses. It's just about being able to do those things on a play-in and play-out basis. Probably what I would say is most shocking from today's practice, and the thing that I don't want to say shocking, but like the thing that I didn't expect out of everything that you expect going in, right? The thing that I didn't expect the most was you had a Bears defense that I thought actually did a better job than was expected. Now, Joe Burrow, of course, is still going to have his Joe Burrow moments. He had a nice play out to Jamar Chase on the left corner and was able to drop that in. He had a really nice play to Jamar Chase. To T. Higgins, where it was just kind of one-on-one, and he ends up beating Tyrique. But overall, after that, there was some really, really good moments from this defense. Of course, the interception from Dillon Thieneman, which was a deep throw over the middle to Mike Gesicki, bounced off of Gesicki's hands. Thieneman was there. But kind of that conversation I keep bringing up in the run game, and I asked TJ Edwards about it today. The consistency that you're seeing where having that second year in the system and having that speed is clearly proving to be an answer for this defense as far as the run game goes, right? Like, they're breaking downhill really quick. The defensive line did a good job shutting down the run. Defensive line did a good job, forcing Joe Burrow into some tough situations after that. It's not to say that there was a ton of pressure. I did count 2, maybe 3 sacks, maybe 3. There was one where it was like, you could say that was a sack, but Joe probably would have thrown that football away quicker if Dio Adangbo could actually hit him. But, you as you went through it, you saw a Bears defense that is continuing to show maybe more teeth than we thought we were going to see. I mean, you saw a multitude of names pop up there. Montez Sweat getting into the mix a little bit as well. Not a ton out there, but getting into the mix just a little bit. You saw what I thought was probably, the best practice for your rookies as far as the defense goes. Dillon Thieneman, talking about him, he seems like a young man who the game is starting to slow down for him. And having it slow down for you in a joint practice, I think is going to be very, very important for this team, because that tells you that, okay, he's understanding what defense he needs to be in, what he needs to be calling, what sets need to happen. And he's doing the job that we all thought that it was going to be Kobe Bryant doing. Now you're seeing the rookie with that responsibility, and he's holding his own on that as well. So you feel good about that, seeing Cam Lewis out there next to him. And then, when you get down into that nickel position, right, Malik Muhammad has done a really, really good job. And Joe Burrow was trying to pick on him. Like, it's not like Joe Burrow wasn't getting his as well, right? Like, there were moments where Joe was able to figure things out. But Malik Muhammad, I thought, held his own very well today and did a good job of forcing some tough situations. Had a couple of breakups. Also had a play in there where he just laid a really, really good hit. And if it was a real game situation, you probably would have seen the ball come out then. But, you felt good about what you were seeing from the team play in and play out on the defensive end, something we didn't see on the offensive end. And so, my takeaway today for the defensive side of the ball is this is a defense that is showing that it definitely has more teeth than maybe we think. Probably more in the run game than in the pass game. When Joe was dropping back to pass, it kind of felt like those were the moments where you were like, you got to get more pressure there quicker. But we almost saw kind of that conversation that Ryan Poles had talked about the coverage playing out and helping you be able to allow the quarterback to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, and you able to get to Joe Burrow in some situations. So, overall, I would say for the joint practice, of the 3 that I've watched from Ben Johnson, this was the worst as far as consistency goes. It's not to say that it was a terrible joint practice, but this was definitely the worst, worse than the 2 that we saw last year versus Buffalo and versus Miami, definitely. But I think you still got some really, really good work. But my takeaway from it was, if you're this Bears team right now and you're looking at what the team has done already, I wouldn't say that there's no reason to play anybody in the preseason game outside of just the fact that you've had a bunch of guys who have dealt with injuries and may continue to deal with some of those injuries. Again, let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below, man. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Only a couple of scares at practice today. Jamree Kromah was carted off the field, but you got to let it breathe. He is okay. He returned to practice today. I'm wondering if that was a bathroom situation, because the stadium is interesting, bro. The stadium is very interesting. Like, it's literally stadium, practice field, and then you can see the red stadium from the Bengals stadium. So it's a very interesting setup for a city. It's not a bad one at all. I would say, of the cities I've been to in Ohio, Cincinnati's probably the best by far. But I say all that to say, right, it's not just you can leave a practice facility, go to the bathroom, and come back, right? It's not right next door for the Bears. So I think that was kind of what ended up happening there with Jamree Kromah. Outside of that, though, nothing serious to report injury-wise. We got an update on Tyson Bagent. He is still week to week, did not travel with the team. Kyle Monungai did not travel with the team as well. And Tyrique Stevenson did return to practice and had some decent reps out there for himself on top of that. Outside of that, though, like it was good work, and I think it exposed a lot that the Bears are still going to need to work on. I would still have questions for your center position. I would still have questions for your left tackle position. And honestly, today's the day where if you're the offensive line, Darren Rashard was visibly upset today. He was visibly like, what the heck what am I looking at right now? Why are you guys looking so god awful versus this team? And it's just because the Bengals were able to bring a little bit more than maybe what the Bears were expecting. But I think on the defensive side, the Bears were kind of able to do the same thing. So when a joint practice that included Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, Jade Walker, if you want to throw him in there, DeAndre Swift, whatever you want to say, ends with the defense feeling like the best part of the day. Did not have that on my bingo card, but I would call that a success in that manner, that you saw something good from the defense. There's a lot you still got to work through on the offensive end. But hey, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. It is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bet now. One love. Peace.